there's one thing I think we can all agree on, I think it has to be the fact that the Sonic movie went through one hell of a character arc in its year before it eventually came out, and then when it came out. Because when it came to the promotional stuff for it, rather if it be like the posters or like the first trailer, I think we can all agree that this thing was just going to fucking burn and be horrible. And we all thought that it was going to be one of those terrible live action adaptations of something that will probably be on like Ninja Turtles levels of bad when it comes to the visuals of, I don't know, the main characters which we actually care about. But then the actual movie came out, and you know what? It turned out to be pretty good for the most part, and that's something which I really like, you know, because it would be such a shame to see if one of my favorite game franchises got trashed on again for simply having a live adaptation which didn't even put in the effort to try and make the main character recognizable. But, you know, aside from that, I think we can all agree about this one thing. The first Sonic movie played it pretty safe. It was like a road trip movie about having a little cartoon buddy by your side, and it was what you could expect. The stakes weren't really all that high, and you know what? It was alright for the most part. But then there's the second movie, which seems to be taking things in a whole nother level to where it almost seems unrecognizable as just opposed to the first movie. Because I guess you could say that the first movie tried to give us a basic setup for things like Sonic as a character in the world that we're in, while the second one seems to be taking things to the next level in order for it to make sense as a sequel. So, in this video, I'm going to be talking about the second Sonic movie, giving my personal thoughts on it and stuff like that, and yeah, let's get into the video, folks. Now, if there's anything which I'm going to be addressing, it has to be things that I actually like in this trailer, and then things that I'm kind of concerned for. So, one of the things which I really like, according to the trailer, has to be the fact that, you know what, Sonic is a lot more of a free spirit as he was compared to the first movie. Because if it wasn't obvious, if you haven't watched the first movie, go watch it. It had to be the fact that, well, Sonic really wasn't Sonic, you know? Because, like, when you think of, I don't know, Sonic as a character, you think about this guy that's constantly going around just not really giving a care about the world. But in like the first movie, it was like he was so afraid of everything. It was just more or less that guy that was just hiding in the bushes watching everyone. So to see him actually go out of his way and interact with the world around him as just opposed to just sitting in a cave and talking to himself like some type of schizophrenic person is actually kind of cool to see, and I like seeing that sense of character progression. And it makes sense considering the fact that, well, according to the first movie, Eggman's on a planet full of shrooms and there's really no way of making his way back home. But now, let's talk about some other things. Now, another thing which I really like, according to this trailer, has to be the fact that there's actually variation when it comes to the locations that our main characters are in. Because, as I said before, the first movie played it pretty safe, and all we really had that was recognizable was, like, Green Hill, and the roadway, and then San Francisco, and then that little chase all over the world, and then Green Hill all over again. Now sure, you could say that we had a couple of locations in the first movie, but it wasn't really anything special to really put our characters in. They were just more or less places to where all the cool moments happened, or, I don't know, moments where the story needed to go take place in order for it to happen. So I'm glad that they're actually going out of their way for Sonic and other characters to actually go in different places, because Sonic isn't known for being this character that stays in one stationary place. You play all the games and you see all these cool locations that all his adventures and escapades take in, so it makes sense that they're actually going out of their way to be different. And talking about different, let's talk about the next part. So, when it came to the stakes of the first movie, as I said a million times, it played it safe. Like, there was all of those things about Sonic being used as some type of test experiment, and that's a typical thing you could expect from movies like this whenever it comes to some anthropomorphic character in the real world. But in this film, it actually seems like they're doing some shit that would actually happen in the games, whether it be the Death Egg robots, or something along with the Chaos Emeralds, or even Knuckles being a bit of an asshole and just attacking Sonic for having no idea about what the heck's going on. The fact that they actually went out of their way to be more crazy and take some inspiration from the games and comics to where things are a lot more different than playing it safe is actually a bit of a cool thing. Because one of the things that was missing from the first Sonic movie was the fact that it felt a bit too normal outside of the fact that Sonic was the main focus of the film, you know? So to see the fact that this is actually a thing to where we have all these crazy characters and crazy scenarios is actually nice to see as just opposed to the first movie. But now let me voice my concerns. Now, if I'm afraid for two things when it comes to this movie, it probably has to be the pacing and Tails and Knuckles as characters are just being included in this. So, let me just give my brief explanations. So, when it comes to the pacing, I feel like the first movie did it pretty decent because, you know, they had a basic structure to work with. But with saying the fact that there's so many set pieces or a set amount of set pieces, I have the bad feeling that we're going to go from, okay, normal story progression and normal story, you know, stuff like that, to, oh my god, guys, look, there's a fucking set piece right there, look at the set piece. And I just have the bad feeling that we're gonna go from normal storytelling to set piece, and set piece to normal storytelling, like there won't be any in between. But at the same time, that could just be me being a conspiracy theorist, or just, I don't know, worrying for no reason. And then there's the whole thing about Tails and Knuckles as characters. Now, I'm saying this as someone who just played the games, because unfortunately, I haven't really read the comics outside of just like reading these small demo reels ever since I was a kid and read them on Google Play for free, but let me just get to the point. In the games, all the other characters that haven't been Sonic have just been static characters, which more or less just fit the status quo of basic attributes to their personality or to what makes them recognizable. For example, Tails in the games has only been rendered useful because he's rather the smart guy, or he's the one that could fly a plane. We never really see him necessarily being friends with Sonic outside of moments where he's just sitting on the sidelines. So I'm kind of afraid that Tails is just gonna be like that side character that just exists. And then there's the whole thing about Knuckles to where, you know, he's obviously gonna be the antagonist for a certain part, he's gonna be the protagonist. And one of the things I'm nervous about when it comes to him is that he's more or less just gonna come off as like the dumb idiot for all of the movie and have nothing to him as a character when it comes to, I don't know, him being the good guy. So, who knows? My best hopes is that maybe we could have a reverse type of situation with what happened in the first movie, to where instead of Tails, you know, like being like so confident like Sonic when it comes to the settings around him, he's just like a fish out of water compared to Sonic, which is just, I don't know, so confident with everything that's going on. And who knows, maybe in the movie they go from not being on the same, not being on like the same side because they just don't understand each other or have no chemistry, to actually having chemistry and having something to where you could see them both becoming friends in a realistic sense. And I guess I could also mention the human characters, but you know, in all honesty, I feel like everyone that's a human character outside of Eggman should just take, you know, just take a little step to the sidelines, you know, because, hey, now we have all the characters that we actually care about. But I feel like I've said everything I've wanted to say. 8-year-old me is like punching the fucking air right now because he wishes that the Sonic movie would have came out like 18 years ago. And man, it really is something special. But I'm Womble360. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and yeah, enjoy the outro. I'll see you guys in another commentary video coming soon, and yeah, later.